Do they have sun in Peoria, Arizona?
Shut the fuck up. It's very hot here and very sunny. It's just the lighting. I'm trying to work on it. God damn.
You could open a window or like the shades.
Yeah,
that would help.
seriously, buy one of those like lights or anything.
Shut the fuck up. All right. Reality Court is back in session. I am Ace Fanning from the Sister Wives podcast, Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided, and the youngest one on this staff. And you can tell when you see Anna start talking. But I am joined by my very unesteemed co-host, Anna Quincoces, author of the Modern Cuban Cookbook, once a Real Housewife of Miami, but now she has to come down into the slums with me. And she's guilty of being the queen of posting quotes to shade whoever it is she's beefing with, but she never gives us anything more than just that. But she loves to do it,
I do. I do a lot of passive aggressive posts.
Lots of passive aggressive posts.
Yeah.
But today we are joined by a very beautiful specimen. He was a TMZ on-air correspondent for 11 years. He's the current co-founder of the fantasy football trophy company Trophy Smack and co-host of the Hollywood Raw podcast. His name is Dax Holt, and we are so grateful to have you here today with us, Dax.
Yes,
Thank you for having me. God, I love the subtle shade in all of the intro. That was so great. It was beautiful. I like your guys' dynamic here. This is awesome.
Dax, before we put anyone else on the stand, I feel like we have to put you on the stand for just a quick second, because I need to know, at TMZ, who's calling in the stories? Is it what we hear? Like, is it the, are celebrities leaking their own stories?
It's everyone. What are you talking about? It's everyone. It's a person in the street who sees something happen. Okay. They're calling in. It's publicists could want, press for a person. It could be a celeb who saw another celeb do something. I mean, it's everyone. Everyone these days is TMZ is really what it comes down to, because it just became so synonymous with where to break news that anyone would call in and just say, hey, just saw this. It's not like they need to be paid for it or anything like that. It's just people are interested in being the ones who want to break the news because people love gossiping.
Okay. So celebrities do call in their own stories.
I think there's a lot of celebs that call in their own stories because and it's not to TMZ, it's literally to every outlet out there, because they know that press is what keeps them relevant in between projects. If you are not being covered on Page Six and TMZ and Us Weekly in between, you kind of fall out of favor with the general public. And so who's going to hire you then?
We kind of think of ourselves here as like TMZ, but it's like a day late, dollar short version. Like, we usually have half the details. We usually are reported on it pretty late. We only do it once a week, so it's hard to really get the hard hitting news out there. And you know what?
Being the Ross version of TMZ is not a bad thing.
We are low rent TMZ. We should change the name of our show, Low Rent TMZ.
Oh my God. Well, Dax, listen, I'm sure you're not nearly as educated as I am in the law and order world, and that's fine. It's totally fine.
Hey, I worked for a lawyer for a long time. Harvey Levin. He's a lawyer.
Okay, I watched a lot of Law and Order, and so I don't know if you can compete with that. But let's get into it. I want to put somebody on stand that I never thought in a million years I would give a shit about. And that is Teddi Mellencamp. This woman has bored us to tears time and time again. You go and listen to her 2 T's in a pod, and it's like you're just bleeding out your ears. But now she's got me by the fucking balls, because it has come out that Teddi Mellencamp has, her divorce is not just, we're having our differences, but in fact that she's been fucking her horse trainer, who is a married gentleman himself, who missed the birth of his child to be with Teddi. Oh my God. But here's the thing that's pissing me off. I believe, and I want to put her on trial because I think that she is guilty of concealing evidence, because she has said, we're not going to talk about this. You have been desperate for a storyline for so long, and now you have one and you're going to withhold it from us? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's out of control. I want to know what Dax thinks about it. have a
It's stuff. I love Teddi. Like she's literally, I know her. I like Teddi.
He's gonna be PC.
I know her quite well. No, and listen, all of this drama, it's so good for any type of reality show personality. Like you want drama in your life because this is what keeps people interested in your storylines. So I would say if there is truth to this, talk about it. Talk about it, because suddenly that is when the Bravo gods will want to anoint you with a new show. That's really what it comes down to. Get you on a show, talk about you, have you as friend of the cast, whatever the case is. Drama sells. So I say lean into any drama in your life.
Thank you. I mean, I've never wanted Teddi Mellencamp to be a housewife again, but now I'm all in. I'm all in with Teddi, you know? That's how I feel about it. Anna, how are you feeling about this situation?
I was pretty ambivalent about Teddi Mellencamp. I didn't like her or not like her. I felt that she was just like a, you know, like a piece of, you know, a hunk of Velveeta with Wonder Bread, you know, like just kind of a little bit of nothing.
Are you ragging on Velveeta right now?
No, I love Velveeta. I'm
okay,
just saying.
I just want to make sure, because
Velveeta,
you made Velveeta sound pretty bland and disgusting.
No, just kind of very, it's good. You like it, but it's not something that you're going to want every day. Every once in a while, if you're, you know, you had a little too much to drink or a little stoned or whatever, yeah, Velveeta, anything will work. But she's Velveeta most of the time. And I think that I feel really bad for him. I think she doesn't want to talk about it because I don't know. I think that women.
You feel bad for who? Her mister?
Edwin. For Edwin, yeah.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
bad for him because I think he was blindsided. And I think that what happened to her was what happens to a lot of housewives. They believe their own press. Suddenly she was popular. She had a very, you know, top, you know, podcast. And she just started thinking that her shit don't stink. And she loves writing. But like, I don't know. To
she
me,
loves writing. That's for sure.
She
like
loves
she's
writing,
been
the horse and the horse trainer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that she is obviously guilty, but the guiltiest of all is the guy, because the guy didn't even go to his wife's giving birth. And, you know, the wife thought it was a little weird, really a little weird. I think sometimes we don't want to see these things that are right in front of us, honestly.
I think it reminds me of Giselle and Tom. I mean, she was hanging out with the jujitsu guy, and it was like, well, this seems a little weirder. Like, if this is your son's jujitsu coach, and then it was her jujitsu coach, and then it all seemed like it was really like, who travels that much with a jujitsu coach? Nobody.
Unless you're doing jujitsu, though. Coach. You know, like jujitsu's got to be the worst thing ever. My nephew does jujitsu, and it's like the most awful thing to watch these kids be screamed at by their jujitsu coach. Not into
I think
it.
that she is now. I think that divorce on these shows is contagious. I think it has a lot to do with where you are in your life. A middle-aged woman, you know, that's been there. You need every external, you know, especially after you've been a housewife, external kind of validation. And so the horse trainer told her, I like your, I don't know, the way you do whatever it is, the way you sit on the horse, the way you ride the horse, the way you, whatever. Maybe she's one of those people that
usually reverse cowgirl's kind of a favorite, you know. I think prefer that, but you know.
Yeah. But, you know, I've also heard people saying that they were always in a lavender marriage, you know what I mean? And that he likes both, you know.
Both what?
Well, yeah, I was like, where are we going with that?
Like that he's bi, he likes men too. I don't know.
Oh, I could see that, you know, but here's the thing. I really don't care about any of it. I just want her to talk about it. And that's what's pissing me off, is because you feel the need to talk about everyone else's shit other than Kyle Richards. For some reason, she always protects her, but it's like, just tell us already. And if you go to their podcast, I decided to look at their podcast, and it's like 1-star review after 1-star review. Like, everyone hates them. And I'm just like, well, how are you here if you hate them so much? But hey,
you have to have that. You need, exactly. You need to have the people that hate listen and the people that love you. You can't have that middle ground. You cannot be super vanilla where it's like people won't come back, but people will come back to just shit on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So do we find her guilty, innocent? How are you feeling, Anna? What's your ruling?
I feel that she's really guilty. I also think that if somebody wants to cheat, she made it so easy to get caught. I think she wanted to get caught.
I could see that. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think she wanted to get caught. I think she's looking for a storyline, and I have a feeling they're not going to bring her back anyway. But guilty, 100% guilty. We don't want you back on our TV.
Have we lost you as a confidant now that we have talked about your dear friend Teddi Mellencamp?
I do feel like I'm a compromised witness in this situation.
Yes, I see that. And we have lots of bias here as well, and habeas corpus and all the above. You know, it's just.
I don't even know what that means.
I have no idea what habeas corpus is, but I will say it every single episode.
It means produce the body.
I still don't know what that fucking means, but habeas corpus for sure.
If somebody does a writ of habeas corpus, it means they want you to appear in court or appear at a deposition or appear somewhere.
Okay. Well, I feel like Teddi Mellencamp was habeas corpusing her vagina onto her horse trainer. All right, Dax, bring us your case. Who are you bringing to trial here?
I want to bring Kim Zolciak and Kroy Bierman to trial. I feel that they are guilty of being on my timeline too goddamn long, and I'm over them. Yeah. And I think that I might see some light at the end of the tunnel, because if you remember, their house has been really at the center of all the drama for like 2 years now. It is finally going up for auction. That auction is scheduled for December 3rd. They might actually then move along with their lives and stop having the fights, stop having the drama inside the home, all of it, if they can just move on. And so I am looking forward to that, because between the stories that fill up TMZ and Daily Mail and everything about cops getting called out, I mean, really, how much public money have we spent sending cops out to their homes over the last 2 years as well? Yeah,
when we should have been sending cameras, you know, it's like save the cops and bring Bravo.
With the chest cams, are they like the cams? So we get video from inside. Body cams.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need. What do you think?
Crazy.
Unfortunately for me, Kim Zolciak does not show up in my timeline, because I was blocked a couple of years ago for pointing out when she was photoshopping her pictures. But I was just trying to be helpful and tell her how she could have done it better. I was not trying to be shady. But so I don't get to see it. But I will say, I honestly feel like the people who are the most hurt by this entire thing, most people would be like, oh, the kids. But I honestly feel like the audience, because I don't know why when this all started, Bravo didn't say, hey, cameras up. Let's do Tardy for the Party, the divorce season. And I feel like that would have been great television.
Big dropping of the ball by Andy Cohen on that one.
Big drop of the ball.
I don't know. I think that if Andy were to pick up the cameras every time a former housewife did something ridiculous, like sending, passive aggressive or posting passive aggressive things, then we'd have a lot of really boring television. Yeah. And I think that these people are guilty mostly of making irresponsible financial decisions. And I don't want to be too serious here, but they made a lot of fucking money. You know what I mean? She was on the show. She had a great salary from that. Then they had the Tardy for the Party and all these, how can you run out of money to the point where you have to sell all your clothes on the Real? You have to, get rid of your house, why didn't they just downsize like normal people when things are, I am telling you, once you're in the public eye, you will do absolutely anything to get back on. And I feel that a lot of this has to do with that. Or she was just so hopeful that she would get something that would bail her out of this predicament. So
what we always talk about we talk about on my podcast is the worst thing to be in Hollywood is famous and broke.
Oh,
because 100%. Especially if you are on a reality show like this, or you're a housewife or whatever, your lifestyle is now brought up to people as being wealthy and extravagant and over the top. And if you don't have the money to do that, it's a really weird situation. People start to get desperate. They start looking anywhere else. They're selling shit online. Like, it's a weird spot when you are famous and broke.
And then I feel like Andy doesn't like famous and broke. You know what I mean? Like, that's why he told Nicole, you have an open door here anytime you want. You have, he loves the ones that are super affluent, because that's what we want to see. We don't want anybody like kind of clocking in at the coal mine or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with clocking in or coal mines, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we want to see what our life isn't, you know, this kind of affluence and ridiculousness. And like, I had an aromatherapy treatment before you, and so I win, or whatever their beef is du jour. So,
but doesn't it always feel good when we finally get to drop the curtain on someone who has, I mean, much like Dorit dropped the curtain on Boy George performing at her home. I like a curtain drop. I like to see the moment when it's like, oh, you've been lying. Like, watching Erica Girardi go from, you know, the life she had to the life she's living, I thought that was great television.
Well, she's great. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's an actress, you know?
She's amazing.
She knows how to entertain. So even if it's a storyline she finds a way to make herself fabulous. Like, oh, this is about resilience and nothing will knock me down and nobody will, you know, get rid of Erica Jane or whatever it is. I mean, that's a different skill set.
I'm an Erica Jane apologist, and honestly, like, it doesn't matter what she does, I will always have her back. Just so we're clear.
I like her too, because she knows the assignment.
That's right.
Are you very close to Erica Jane too? Because we're only saying nice things.
No.
You can tell Erica Jane that we like her. That's totally fine.
You know, it's funny. I didn't watch Beverly Hills Housewives for many years, and I was just I got out of it. But when all of that drama was going on, I'm gonna do a little name drop. I was over at Dr. Drew's house. He is next door neighbors with their old house. So when all of that drama was going on, he like walked us outside. He's like, see, that's their house right there. And we were looking up at it. And then I found out about it. And then I got super interested in the whole story. But I didn't watch her on Housewives. It just never did. But finding out, and I didn't know that he was a part of like the movie Aaron Brockovich was about him. Like,
yeah.
I just started finding out all this stuff, and I was like, well, they really do have a fascinating life, and he really is shady as fuck.
It was beautiful television. Honestly, I feel like that's like there's certain times in Housewives history where I feel like we remember where we were. And I feel like that's one of them. Jen Shaw being arrested in Beauty Lab and Laser parking lot. Like, we remember Teresa, you know. It's just, there's so many times where it's like, these are the things that shape us into who we are. And
I mean, do you remember 19 times prostitution whore?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know that I'm the same person after I heard those words than I was before. You know, I really feel that put, you know, it just opened a different part of my brain. And now I'm just a little bit more of a bitch.
Here's my thing. Going back to Kim Zolciak Bierman here for a second, where the fuck is Big Papa? You know, it's like when all is falling apart, because people are saying that Brielle has her own Big Papa.
Oh, for sure.
And even though she's engaged, they're like, oh, she still has a Big Papa. And I just am like, here's the thing. If you're pretty and you got a great body and you can suck dick, why wouldn't you? Like, people love to shit on a sugar baby, and I would do anything in the world to be a sugar baby. If they wanted to piss on my face, I would do it. I don't care. It's
at this point in my life, with age comes wisdom.
Yep.
I wish that I had totally been a sugar baby when I had the time. I don't like younger guys, so that's not going to work for me. But I'm also disappointed that I didn't encourage my daughters to marry for money. You know what I mean? Why couldn't like marry for love and shit? You know? No, seriously. What kind of mother am I? Raising children in this world and not telling them, hey, you know, you can love somebody as much if they're rich than if they're poor. You know what I mean? And you have better shoes. Like,
my wife and I met 20 years ago. We've been married and we've been together for a very long time. And I tell her, if this doesn't work out, I'm only going for money after this. Like, I don't care. I don't need to be in love again. We've experienced that. I want someone to take care of me. I just want to be a trophy husband.
Well, you're going to have to go out and like be with some hookers and stuff, because you've only ever been with one girl in your whole life, and you don't really know what ass play is. You don't. You think it's you just think it's anal sex. He's never heard of a prostate massage or anything like that. He's got a lot to learn.
True. Yeah, I got a lot to learn about ass play, for sure.
You are going to be a shitty sugar baby.
You can't go out there with limited information. You can't.
So, Anna, how are you feeling about Kim? Is she guilty? Is she innocent?
I mean, I don't, you know, I think the pity of the court is with her, I think, because I don't feel that she's equipped to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times the lip injections and the extensions and the tanner and all that, it really affects with your brain chemistry. It's like she's not like working with everything we have working. And so
did your facelift affect your blood sugar levels at all?
No, but
because I'm wondering why for a 45-minute fucking episode you're eating during it. Good God.
I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
Just throwing whatever those, what is it, pretzels?
I am. So I'm gonna say no contest. I'm not gonna kick somebody when they're down.
Gotcha. You put one more fucking piece of food in your mouth during this podcast, I'm gonna lose my shit. Now, I would like to open an investigation, and Anna, I need you on this one. Okay, I'm calling you to come collaborate with me on this because there's some stuff going on in Miami. Real Housewives of Miami. It has come out that there are two long-term friends who are feuding, and they're, one of their positions could be in jeopardy due to this feuding. And then we get a picture of all the women minus Alexia and Marisol going on like a private jet. What is going on? I need to know. Come on.
Private jet while on the cast trip?
Yes, they're in Spain.
Oh, wow. So the Shoma plane goes all the way over there. So the private plane probably belongs to the new housewife that replaced Nicole or the new friend.
Okay.
I do not think the fight is between Marisol and Alexia. Think about it. Marisol would never in a million years fight with Alexia.
But don't you think if they're saying it would affect their position, why do we need Marisol if she's not going to be with Alexia?
Well, we don't. Marisol is without Alexia or Elsa. She's like white noise. She's drunk white noise. So that's why I heard that it was between Larsa and Lisa, because they said something about boyfriends.
But they were in the picture together. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but the whole thing came out. I'm telling you, I don't think it's Marisol and Alexia.
Dax, are you a Miami girl?
I like Larsa. I did not get into Miami. I didn't get into it. But I like. Do you guys like Larsa on the cast? Were you happy she came back?
I hate Larsa, but I love to hate Larsa, so I am fine keeping her there.
And I think she brings good press to the show, I would say.
That's the only one that does. Yeah.
She's a huge name. Everything she does seems to get attention. She learned from the best, being Kim Kardashian's like bestie there for a long time. And so she knows how to work it. And I feel like she was a great re-add to that show.
Yeah. Did you just make the whole thing up about Alexia and Marisol? I really think that you did.
No, this is it's a blind item that's come out, but all I said was I was putting the pieces together because it said that there were two friends who were fighting, and then Alexia and Marisol were not in the picture with the plane. So I was saying, I hope it's them.
You don't fight with your meal ticket when the meal ticket comes with an open bar serving mojitos,
Here's
not
the thing.
Marisol. No way.
Dax, I ask you to please give Miami another chance. I'm asking all of America to give Miami another chance and don't listen to fucking Anna over here because she's bitter about it. She hates them all. But
here, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to give them another chance,
yes,
do I have to go back in time and rewatch like from a long time ago? Or I don't,
but if you want to see Anna Quincoces, you could.
Oh, yeah, you got to go way back.
But no, you can just start from the reboot. It is one of my favorite. It is the it's like the Cuban version of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like it is great television, and I wish everyone was watching it.
Can you do an imitation of like the Latin girl speaking Miami English? And don't say that. Just listen to me because I'm not as bad as they are.
No. All I can do is Mama Elsa. That's Marisol. It is really one of the best franchises out there, and people keep sleeping on it, and I don't get it. And you will meet a gal named Kiki, and you will fall in love, and you will have an immediate boner for sure.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
All right. Well, now you got me interested.
No, I think this season, actually, I'm definitely going to watch. And I think this season is going to be particularly good with the addition of this girl who's very, very wealthy and is married to an older man. And I think that she's causing a lot of issues there, I mean, she's the only one besides Nicole that didn't have fake bags and fake everything else. She's like, she has real, her mother taught her well. She has real money. They said, marry the guy with the saggy balls. You'll live a better life.
Oh, God. Dax, I mean, right? Like, marry the guy with the saggy balls.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%.
We fucked up.
Saggy balls will make you happy.
Dax, bring us another case here. What are we looking at?
This case I need to bring is, I believe, from my knowledge, that Kristin Cavallari is guilty of being the most savvy, amazing media whore out there right now. And I love it. And when I say this, and I say that she is guilty of this, I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I'm saying this as it is very hard to stay relevant in Hollywood and to consistently get your name in the top of every website out there is a talent. And she now possesses that talent as if her last name was Kardashian.
Yeah.
You know what I find so interesting is, like, where are we at with the Kardashians? Not to derail this for a second, but are we not caring about Kardashians anymore? Because I feel like I don't. And I would rather it be someone like Kristin Cavallari.
I think the Kardashians come and they go, but they never fully go away. They are like somehow will rebirth in a week, and it'll have the biggest stories on the planet, and we'll be like, remember when we weren't talking about them? But I don't think they ever really go anywhere. One of them will always have a big story in the headlines. But with Kristin, it's like over the last 5 weeks, she has had the top stories between her and that Mark Estes breakup, and then her talking about the Britney Spears clone, and Bobby Flay jumping in his DMs and saying that she'll only date men that have vasectomies. I mean, it's just like everything she's doing somehow becomes the biggest story of the day.
And what's her stupid knockoff jewelry line called again? The something James, whatever that is.
Yeah.
It's like she's not even, I don't even know if she's doing that anymore. It's like, what is she really famous for? It's like Laguna Beach was forever ago. The Hills reboot was an absolute failure. But it's like, we're all so interested in her. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty. For sure.
I think people are, they're not interested in her. They're interested in who she's sleeping with. And so the fact that she was with this young guy and the breakup was very public and she talked about it. And I think that, just the fact that all these other guys are now attracted to her because she's in her, how old is she, in her 40s? And attracted this really young guy. And I think that that's what's happening. It's just she's sleeping with the right people and she's talking about it on her own social media and on her own podcast. Let's go around and sleep with people.
The suspect trend where she basically admitted to sleeping with Jason Statham. That also got a ton of headlines. She knows what the hell to do right now. And that's not easy in this entertainment world because a lot of, there's not a lot of, editors working at these websites anymore. It's kind of been shutting down. Everything's leaning to TikTok or Instagram. And she is still maintaining coverage on every single website.
Yeah. Do you think she's working with PR or is this just straight from her?
I think it's both. I think she has a great PR team, but then I think she knows what to say on her podcast. And the second she says it, I think it's calculated and her team goes to work, gets it out there. Everyone picks it up. And I think that this is probably making her more money on her podcast than she's probably ever made in her life. And that's why you don't hear about the jewelry line as much anymore, because once that one career line starts amping up, you go, oh, well, the jewelry line only makes me, $200,000 a year, but this is making me $1 million. So I'm going to go with this.
True.
Yeah. And you know what? Good for her. I don't find her guilty of it at all, because I think it's hard once you've been a has-been to come back. And, I'm taking notes. Like, I want to really
from one has-been to another.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that the most important thing about being a has-been is kind of living with that truth. Like, I am a has-been. Now, what can I do to make this better? So I'm right now thinking about who I can sleep with. And, it could be anybody. Like, just tune in, guys.
I think that's good. I think that's a good idea. As a never been, I'm not a has been. I'm just a never been. I've never been anything. I have to say, I don't like, everyone talks about how Kristin Cavallari's had this really young boyfriend, but like she looks 24 years old. Like, I don't care if she's 40 or whatever. She looks so fucking good. It does not matter.
Listen, there's twice in your life when age starts to show the most. This is something I read. I wrote it and then I read it. No, I read it in a medical thing of dermatology. The most you age the most, you notice it the most at 44 and at 60.
Oh.
Yeah. Hence the facelift.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So I think that you also need to know when you're coming up on those numbers, because you have this window. You have a tiny window to still kind of look good. There's a point where there's nothing you can do to look better, no matter what. Nothing. There, you can't pick up if your boobs are like, if your tits are on the floor, like it doesn't matter if you pick them up to like crop, so it'll cover your crop top. You really need to start early. And I really appreciate her hustle. Like, I think it's good.
Thank you for that advice.
I just want to give you guys the advice if you're like near
Dax, how old are you?
At 42.
Ooh, you're coming up there, buddy.
Wow, you're 2 years away.
I'm about to fall off the edge, guys.
Oh,
God. All downhill after 44.
Find somebody to sleep with fast.
I got 2 years before I'm out of my prime. No, but I do think with this like face, I totally understand the purpose of, tweaking things, getting Botox, all of that, so that you don't have crazy wrinkles. But how do you know when to stop?
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a fine line between you look good and you look like a cat lady.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I think,
and by cat lady, I mean you actually look like a cat, not that you own
right.
cats.
But I remember, the Bride of Wildenstein, that cat lady, she really looked like a cat. I honestly think that the biggest problem with that is the addiction of those fillers and Botox and stuff. That's why I was like, I'm going to do that shit. I'm just going to, pull this up, and I just think it's better. My lips are normal, like those lips that look like, they look like a vagina. Like, think about it. Like,
okay. Well, I honestly think they call them lips for a reason. I think that's why we refer to them as vagina lips, is because they do kind of look like lips, but sometimes your vagina lips look like an Arby's roast beef sandwich, and sometimes they just look like a nice pair of kissable lips. It's all over the place, and we celebrate all vaginas here.
Thinly sliced.
Guys, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is back this week, and I, for one, am excited. Now, I don't know if Dax is still in it or not, but don't know why you were sleeping on it. But there was
I liked Beverly Hills the most just because living in LA, you get to see like the familiar landmarks. You could go by and see Vanderpump literally any day of the week at one of her restaurants. So that to me was fun, and that's what I enjoyed the most about it, is because it hit home a little bit more.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's real wealth, like, for the most part.
Yeah.
So Sutton was on this, she was promoting the show. She was on this thing with Lisa Barlow where they were playing Name 'Em, and they had to guess who the other person was on their cast that they were talking about. Well, Lisa says about Dorit, she's like, oh, she lives well above her means. And Sutton says, oh, Dorit, obviously. And then Lisa's like, yeah, but, she's so pretty. And she says, anyone can be pretty with surgery. So Dorit claps back and says, hey, if that's the truth, why has Sutton not gotten any surgery? Here's the thing. I would like to drop all charges against both women. I find both women innocent because they are doing their job here. Lots of people want to come for Sutton. Lots of people want to come for Dorit, but it's like, this is beautiful. And this feels much like the Dorit we first met when she came on the show, because she's been a sleeper for a while. I've been over Dorit. I don't want to see her go to therapy about her PTSD. I don't want to hear her talk about Baba and Phoenix and Jagga. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is her being a nasty, petty bitch. And that's what makes Housewives beautiful to me. So I would like to formally ask that we drop all charges against these women.
I'm all for that. I like pettiness. I like when they are ruthless to each other. You do not tune in to Housewives to watch a bunch of women get along. Sorry, that's not interesting.
No,
if they're not cat fights, if there is not backstabbing, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think I want to put him on probation, because I think neither of them have a super strong storyline going into this season. And so they're doing this little bickering and catfighting, and I appreciate it, but bring us something bigger. Okay. I do not want the whole season to be about you said I was ugly or you said I could only be pretty. No.
Well, that was all after the season wrapped. Right. So I feel like
there better be more.
There better be more, for sure.
Yeah, there better be
sure.
More.
So then do you drop Teddi in there? I know she's an Orange County girl, but like drop her in just for a little bit to stir stuff up, because I know people fucking can't stand her.
Clemency. He's looking for the clemency of the court on his
not the clemency.
I don't even know what that means.
Me either. I just like to say it.
It's like you're trying to like hit at my heartstrings, but I am a learned jurist, and I know Teddi Mellencamp is guilty of hurting Edwin. And I had like a weird sex dream with Irwin, whatever the fuck his name is, like
Irwin.
a month and a half ago.
Tell us more.
Was he doing ass play?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course, he's Latino. They pretend they don't like it, but it's such a threat to their masculinity that it becomes a kink.
Oh, wait, so you were doing the ass play on him.
Right.
Oh.
Shit.
Have you only been? Do you live in Peoria too?
We thought he was doing the ass play on you.
Yeah. Dax, do you do a lot of ass play?
You know, there was everything. We were doing. We don't, like Alexia said about her and Todd. We did it all.
Oh.
We did it
Anna,
all.
are you a big ass player?
No, I mean, not big. I wouldn't say big. I would say that if it's appropriate and sometimes necessary, like, yeah, you need to.
Like, have you put a strap-on and fucked a guy?
No.
Okay.
No, Jesus, no.
Have you eaten ass?
Oh, no.
What do you do? Just give like a finger here and there?
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes I cannot believe my daughters are listening to this.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
but do you also give up ass too? Like,
you know, if you have to give up ass, you give up ass, but you only give up ass to somebody you really trust. You know, that's an important thing, because if not, you know what they do? What they do is that they like, you know what the dolphin is? Have you ever heard of the dolphin? You've heard of the Max Sanchez or whatever, like those gross sex things. No. Okay, well, the dolphin
Dirty Sanchez, is that
Dirty Sanchez? Dirty Sanchez.
Max Sanchez, who the fuck is that?
Max Sanchez is the
chef
in Miami.
Dirty Sanchez.
Dirty Sanchez.
So urban legend. Give me a break.
Right. Okay. So this is another kind of Dirty Sanchez. So it's like when a woman, they're going from behind and the guy is trying to put it in the wrong hole and she's going. So that is the problem to me, because once you leave it there and they go, oh, wait, I have an opportunity. Then instead of doing it slowly, they're worried you're going to change your mind, and they just like ram it in there. And then I'm sorry, that's assault and battery. Like, no. Wow. So Dax, it's got to be somebody you trust.
I got to say, do you find Anna guilty of giving us too much information right now?
Asked me.
Hell no. Bring it on. I think we need to cross-examine this witness even longer.
I'm telling you guys.
Anna, all right, just show us some of the tapes that you've made. We'll kind of dissect it.
No, I don't have tapes. I'm telling you, I don't have tapes, because you were talking about this, Dax, on your podcast on Hollywood Raw about
ass play. We had not talked about
not that play. About this guy, Brandy's brother, who's just taken it, you know, gotten in the news. RJ. No, the one
Ray
that
J?
was in the
Ray
J. Oh my God.
Ray J. Ray J. Yeah.
Ray J.
RJ. I don't know. He's kind of related to Monica. No, it's Brandy. It's Brandy.
I was thinking like Brandy Glanville. Like, who are we talking about here?
Ray J, the one who fucked Kim Kardashian and made her famous. Yeah. Thank you.
I forgot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that like people like that just can know how to get a lot of press when they need to.
Yes. Yeah. Ray J also very good about getting press off dumb shit.
Yes, like
I don't know how that has to do with ass play, but we can go back to whatever you would like.
I forgot now what we were talking about, but I know that there was a direct correlation that Ace threw me off my game.
Oh, right. Blame me. All right, guys, I have 2 more cases I want to kind of blitz through really quickly. Number 1, Lisa Barlow, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She throws a huge hissy fit over the fact that she's going to have to fly Coach home from Palm Springs. And everyone's like, wow, the entitlement of this woman. She doesn't understand the world and blah, 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 blah. Is this not what we want from Housewives? To see a woman lose her shit about having to sit in 17C, that's beautiful television to me. I don't want someone down to earth.
I do not find her guilty because if you've ever sat in first class, you never want to go back to Coach ever again. Yeah. And there is a little beauty behind that, and I don't blame her at all.
Let me say, I've never flown first class. I've walked past first class, but never sat there.
I've dabbled in it in my life, and it is amazing.
You've dabbled in ass play, and you've dabbled in first class.
I've dabbled in first class too, and I have to tell you, the best thing is when you're sitting there and kind of like you're reading something, and you look up at the regular passengers with a little bit of disdain, and like,
oh yeah.
Go find your hole back there. No, here's what I think. I don't love that. I want for housewives who are affluent to act like they've been there, and people who are regularly on private planes and regularly fly first class. It's like you don't have to say first class. You just have to say, I'm going on a flight, because everybody already knows it's first class.
Fuck that. I want her to say first class. I want her to
her
lean into it.
To cry about her $60,000 ring. Like, that's beautiful television. That's what I'm here for.
I want them to be unrelatable, because that's what's great TV. Like, wear your giant diamonds, go on your private jets,
too.
in first class.
That too. And honestly, Bronwyn, Lisa saying that she's got more money than Bronwyn. Bronwyn did what I should have done and what I should have told my daughters to do. Married the Palm Pilot guy. That was the first handheld device in the history of the world. That was like Brontosaurus Rex, Palm Pilot.
Which honestly, I feel like it's like, if I had to guess, you had a Palm Pilot.
I didn't have a Palm Pilot because I've always been technologically disadvantaged.
Okay, but you were around the time that the Palm Pilots were happening.
Yes, I remember, and I remember the little thing.
You didn't want to give up your pager for a Palm Pilot.
Yeah.
I think I even had a Palm Pilot. I forgot about those things. I think I had one a long time ago with the little, the little stylus that you would write on it.
He came out of the womb with the Palm Pilot.
No, but I remember them. They're cool.
Yeah, they're cool. And so this guy has significant funds. So we're going to call those Bronwyn's funds, because she's sleeping with the ring, with the saggy balls. So she's earned it. She's earned every penny. And so
those balls are slapping.
Lisa's getting on first class by saving her miles and by upgrading. That's how I get on. I'm not going to buy a $10,000 ticket to go to LA. I'm not going to do it. But all day I will just save my miles and flirt with the guy at the, at the gate, and do whatever I have to do to get first class, because it is the most amazing thing.
My problem is Southwest doesn't have first class, so that's all I fly.
The day, Ace, when you get to recline your chair in first class and it goes fucking flat, it is the greatest
the pods,
thing
those are the
ever.
best.
Oh
I will quickly be escorted off the flight for coming in my pants. Now, last case that I just have to bring up, guys. We had the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight, and Mike lost, which I feel bad for the guy. I feel like he shouldn't have done this. I think Jake Paul, it doesn't matter. You're not the greatest of all time. Mike Tyson always will be, but none of that is what I'm here to talk about. Instead, I'm here to talk about the Mike Tyson's indecent exposure, his ass just getting right there on the screen for everyone to see. And honestly, this to me, I think we will forget about Mike Tyson biting the ear, and we will always remember Mike Tyson's turning around and showing us his ass on live TV.
It was, I sat there for a while going, was this a publicity stunt? Because it was almost too perfect. How did he walk over to his son to do the interview with them not seeing that his ass was fully hanging out? Like, it had to have been planned. The fact that the cameraman got him walking away, like, this to me was the greatest marketing scheme. And if it wasn't planned, then wow, they really hit it out of the park.
Honestly, the whole thing was planned. The whole fight was planned. The whole outcome was planned. This was so fixed. And I do believe that it was his way. You know, he's a very proud man. And I think that he was, you know, he never got in there. He was biting his glove the whole time. And listen, I'm going to be the first to say, a week ago, I didn't know who Jake Paul was. Never heard of him, never seen him. It's just
That's
not on my
you're
radar.
old.
Huh?
It's
Yeah,
because you're old.
I'm old. But then I did a deep dive, and wow, I wish I could go back a week to when I didn't know him. That guy is just, he is terrible.
You know what's
and so
funny, though?
I was really rooting for Tyson, but it really, I think that the ass cheek out is his way of saying, I still got it. You know, I'm 58 years old, but look at my ass. It's hard as a rock. He had a real Housewives moment. He needed to prove something.
I got to ask play.
Yeah. This really, though, brought the audience. I mean, there was like 280 million people watching around the world. But I would say my kids knew who Mike Tyson was now because they knew, obviously, Jake Paul. They didn't know Mike Tyson. And every kid that I saw, because I coach a soccer team, every kid was talking about this fight on Sunday. Oh my God, did you see the fight? And so it really brought like multiple generations together because of this. I would say the other funny part was at the end when the announcer was asking Mike why he was biting his glove. He was like, I have a biting fixation.
I know.
And the whole room that I was with, we were a bunch of guys watching, all of us died laughing. We were like, brilliant.
He was trying not to bite Jake Paul, which I wish he would have done. I just felt sorry for him because, you know, he's always got that, like that look in his eye, like he could kick everybody's ass. And there was a point there right when he got in that he looked scared and he looked old. And it just really, you know, made me feel really bad for him. But, you know, Jake Paul has unlimited funds. So they offered him all the money in the world. And I would have taken it. But I still felt bad for him. I think he sullied his reputation a little bit.
He's suffering from indecent exposure. Poor Mike Tyson.
He is. He
is. Dax, we have loved having you here today. Tell everyone when they can find the Hollywood Raw podcast.
You can find Hollywood Raw podcast on YouTube, on Apple Podcasting, where you download your podcast. But we normally do an episode on Wednesday where we talk to someone either in the media world or a celebrity or someone associated with it. Like we talked to a lot of paparazzi. We get them on to get their side of what it's like photographing these people. We talk to private chefs. We talk to private flight attendants, bodyguards. We talk to kind of anyone associated with celebrities because they tell the best stories. They're not.
Have you ever spoken to Pookie? To Pookie and Jet? Pookie and Jet?
No.
What?
Who's that?
That has nothing to do with what he just said.
Because she's a flight attendant.
But he said a private flight attendant, like people
who
was
a private flight attendant. How do you think
she
found? Yeah. How do you think she found him?
Oh
no.
Yeah.
I haven't. But we literally will talk to all the people close to the celebs because they tell the greatest stories. And then we have celebs on. We've had Larsa Pippen on. We've had a bunch of the Housewives on. And then we release an episode on Friday that's like a top 10 entertainment stories of the week to kind of get everyone caught up on what is happening in entertainment news.
And
have you had Teddi Mellencamp on?
We've had Teddi. We've had Tamara. We've had so many Housewives. I can't even list them all, but really great shit we get out of everyone. So highly recommend you checking out the Hollywood Raw podcast.
And talk to us about Trophy Smack.
Trophy Smack was, I started this up with a buddy of mine a couple years back. So after I left TMZ, we were playing fantasy football together and he wanted to get like the most ridiculous over the top trophy. And they didn't exist. So we started it up and it has blown up. We did Shark Tank a couple years back, partnered with Mark Cuban, and it just not slowing down. We make customizable trophies, big championship belts, rings, turnover chains, anything that is just over the top and ridiculous to celebrate your win. So it's been a really fun side gig that's turned main gig for me.
I don't do fantasy football. I don't watch sports, but I think that I want trophies like this just for my own accomplishments in life.
I was in a fantasy football league called the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Now we can literally make anything. So if you wanted to do a big picture of someone's face on a chain, like we do that kind of shit, just over the top craziness.
I would love to put Anna Quincoces' face on a chain and wear that.
On my chest
we can make it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, Dax, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. This has been so much fun. I hope that you'll come back. I hope Anna hasn't offended you with all the ass play that she's been talking about.
No, actually,
we should have an ass play trophy.
My interest to come more often.
Right?
Oh, good.
Right.
Okay, good. He's getting into the ass play. Thank you, Anna.
For all the I want to say to go to Hollywood Raw for all the accurate things that are happening in the world, right?
Yes.
And if you want just inaccurate, all over the place information, but fun, you can listen to Reality Court.
Yes, and if you want to hear someone eat while they are doing a 45-minute podcast, we are the spot for that. Go and leave us a 5-star review only. If you're going to say anything bad, make sure it's only about Anna. I am way too sensitive to hear any of that.
You are.
Dax, thank you. Anna, thank you. Pat, thank you. And of course, thank you, Beyonce. Court is adjourned.